Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Jay Walking Tours. I'm Jay, and we're going on a walking tour. Today, we're covering City Hall. We're currently on Fulton Street, and we're approaching the Oculus building. That's the Oculus building. Essentially, it's a transportation hub. There you can catch the PATH train, local trains, some eateries, restaurants, some shopping stores, and most importantly, free restrooms. In recent years, homelessness in New York City has reached the highest levels since the Great Depression of the 1930s. In June of 2019, there were about 60,000 homeless people in New York City. Study shows that the large majority of street homeless New Yorkers are living with mental illness or severe health problems. It's pretty crazy to see how you got the super rich living next to the super poor. It's kind of sad, actually. That's the Millennium Hilton Hotel. Average night stay could range from $200 through $500. Yeah, I think I'll stay at the local hostel. Thank you. And we're crossing against a red light. Only do so at your own risk. And I jaywalked. St. Paul's Chapel. It was completed in 1766. It was almost destroyed 10 years later during the Great Fire of 1776. St. Paul's Chapel is the oldest surviving church building on Manhattan Island. Before the Revolutionary War, Founding Father Alexander Hamilton practiced militia drills in the courtyard. When the new nation won its freedom, George Washington actually prayed here following his inauguration as President of the United States. The chapel truly is a survivor. It even survived the terrorist attacks of 9/11, still standing strong to this day. And we're gonna make a left here on Broadway. Those tour buses look pretty cool. I've never been on one. Maybe I can get on one and then show you guys what it's like. Maybe. Love the energy of this city. So many people walking around the street. Oops, we jaywalked again. Trying not to do it because it is a $250 fine if you get caught. You see the building in front of us? That's the Woolworth Building, also known as the Cathedral of Commerce. It was the tallest building in the world when completed in 1913. You see, Frank Winfield Woolworth was an American entrepreneur and the founder of F.W. Woolworth Company, which operated a variety of stores known as five and dime stores, or dime stores. I guess they're the equivalent of dollar stores nowadays, but fancier. In its heyday, the structure housed offices, a shopping center, health club, restaurant, and social club. Later, the landmark was headquartered for the payroll of Manhattan Project. That's the project where they made the first nuclear bomb in the US. Although the skyscraper is now closed to the public, tours of its lobby reveal its many architectural splendor. If you go on a tour, you can only view the lobby. There's a 90-minute lobby tour, which is $45, and a 30-minute lobby tour, which is $20. City Hall Park is a nice place to just relax, grab lunch, and just relax. That's our City Hall. It's the third version of it. The first was in Federal Hall by Wall Street. The second, I'm not sure. And the third? Well, you're looking at it. You know, our City Hall is still in use today. It's the oldest in the nation still to retain its civic purposes. Officially opened in 1812, the Federal-style three-tier building in Lower Manhattan has been the setting of many poignant moments in United States history. After President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, his body was laid here, in the Rotunda. You see, that's New York City. It's always nice to hear people speak in other languages.
They're just four or 5 use cases that are all.
New York City is a pet haven. In fact, New York residents own over an estimated 1 million pets, while around 600,000 are dogs. Do you hear that sound? That's the sound of the New York City public bus right in front of you, kneeling. These buses have pneumatics where they could kneel and let the elderly climb onto the bus. New York is home to as many as 12,000 food vendors, even though there are only a few thousand permits that exist. Out of the 12,000 vendors, there are only about 5,100 valid food vendor permits currently allotted by the City Department of Health. I wonder does that food vendor to our left actually has a permit? Doesn't matter, I'll still buy from him.
They're gonna be like.
You see that? Scaffolding. As long as there's construction happening in New York City, there will be scaffolding. There are many factors that influence the need for scaffolding, but at the core, it is meant to ensure safety of construction sites. Even if these laws, accidents do occur, whether through the collapse of scaffolding or debris escaping from a construction site. In one rare instance, a crane tipped over on a windy day in Tribeca and killed a person in a car. But don't let this freak accident scare you. This is New York City after all. The organized chaos is truly under control, and you should feel safe passing by scaffolding. African burial ground. You see, new buildings are constantly popping up in New York City. In 1991, construction for a federal office building in downtown Civic Center unearthed more than bedrock. Workers found skeletal remains of what archaeologists would later discover was a 6.6-acre burial ground, used from the 1690s until 1794 for freed and enslaved Africans. Africans were banned from being buried in Trinity Church, and so they were buried here. During excavation, the remains of 419 men, women, and children were unearthed, as well as wooden grave markers in the largest bioarchaeological site of its kind. This building is owned by the National Park Services, so it's a federal building. The visitor center requires airport-like security screening, so leave your nail filers in the hotel. Those two guys on the left are speaking in Cantonese. It's a dialect of Chinese.
So, therefore, you know, they pay for everything and be the primary care provider.
That's the African Burial Ground Monument. It's a structure that honors those that were buried here. So this road is closed, barricaded on the ends. Is this still considered jaywalking, or is it an open street?
Really a vacation because you know, it's not like I'm gonna enjoy it, but I'm not gonna enjoy it. It's not like
This is where all the courthouses are in Lower Manhattan. Sometimes the cops give you problems for taking videos and pictures, but today they didn't say anything.
Personality and
Hot dogs are $2, hot sausages are $3, pretzels are $3, and a cold drink is $2. I remember when a hot dog and a cold drink was only $1. I think I'm dating myself.
I know, right? Like, Taurus, next year I'm gonna follow you in Taiwan.
Sometimes when you walk along the street, you see people wearing fancy suits and dresses. Well, that's because they just got married here. This is the city clerk's office. The marriage bureau's in here. If you want to get married officially in New York City, you need a marriage license. The fee for the license is $35. Well, that's the end of the tour. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what else you want to see next episode. Thanks.